So this is my second paper. So unfortunately, both of these two papers are presented by me. I'm the only author, so I could not assign somebody else either. This is about the same unit as well. Because this unit was so challenging for the first timer as me. And this was my first experience as unit coordinator in CQ University in 2018. I actually, while addressing all these challenges, I actually learned a lot of things as well. So let me introduce the second paper, which is about clever paraphrasing as a serious academic misconduct. And I encountered this problem in the same unit as well. And I already introduced this unit, so I won't have to give you another background of it. So you know now that each individual student in this unit used to come up with their own research project, which is related to their future professional industry, like whatever profession they would select in future, or maybe they are working currently. So basically, they have to choose, come up with their own research problems. So basically, we just facilitated them. It's a partially independent study unit. So topic was not provided to them. That was the first challenge they had to face in this unit. So many of them were actually encouraged to go through other previous successful assessment from previous term and find out topic and data sources from there. Although the requirement is that you have to come up with your own unit project, you should be able to identify your own data, secondary data source to use, etc. So these are part of their challenges or evaluation. But what they did is many of them tried to cleverly paraphrase previous terms submissions, and you cannot detect it through the Turnitin similarity rate, because the score, similarity score shows probably 11% or below 20%, which is quite reasonable in a 3,000 word exercise. But especially in the report, they actually had a chance to cheat like that, which is very hard to determine as well as hard to prove. So there is a huge scope for the student to go for a dispute. And actually, the lecturers or markers would find it very difficult to prove, because the copying of idea, because it is a publicly available secondary source, you can use this same secondary source that other people have used previously, because there is no way to say that you guys are in collaboration with each other, you are coming up with the same idea. So that was a major challenge, another major challenge of this unit in terms of maintaining the standards and academic integrity. So we generally categorize academic misconduct broadly in 6 different categories, such as plagiarism, cheating, collusion and facilitation, fraud, misinterpretation, and fabrication. However, several new forms of academic misconduct emerged in recent years in the tertiary education sector, mainly due to technology-facilitated networking among the students. So some of the old one, like for example, contract cheating is not really very new, but technology facilitated contract cheating even more, because now through online platforms, you can actually hire people. So these contract cheating is one of the contemporary trend that received much attention, whereas traditional form of cheating like clever paraphrasing, which is also facilitated by technology a lot, often skips the policy radar. So you will hardly find any policy mentioning clever paraphrasing as a very important point of or form of cheating. So underlying reason for such oversight could be the lack of awareness or the difficulty in detection and policy ambiguity regarding the burden of proof and the gravity of the misconduct and its consequences. So basically, a lot of reasons are there why this is going under the radar. I would like to start this discussion with one experience I had in the same unit, and I'm obviously using pseudonym again. So pseudonym for this student, let's say, is Anusha. So I'm just placing this particular type of misconduct in the traditional 6 category. So this is a kind of plagiarism as well. But we normally think that poor paraphrasing constitutes a form of academic misconduct or plagiarism, even if they have mentioned the source, but they haven't done proper paraphrasing. It can still come as a similarity score. It's very easy to identify, and generally based on that, they do get penalties depending on the extent of their plagiarism or misconduct. But clever paraphrasing, when they do that, we can't identify it totally based on the similarity score. That's the problem and challenge. So the next slide actually shows, but it doesn't show very well. I will take you to the actual paper with some editing I did to hide the student's name. But as you can see, I have highlighted a few of the parts where I found similarity. Now, as you can see, Anusha's paper has only 18% similarity, and 13% of it only comes from another student's paper, but one paper only. And so I tapped into that source. Actually, there was another marker who marked it in a campus, and she mentioned it, like 13% is similar with one source, and she said that qualitatively it matches. Because the student failed, I had to moderate that paper, and I investigated myself, and I found that yes, this 13% came from one previous student from Central Queensland University of same course, and I could download that whole paper. And interestingly, very few lines actually matches with this paper. As you can see, the research question, this one is Anusha's research question. This one is the original paper's research question. Let's say it's Abhishek. So Abhishek and Anusha's research question doesn't match at all. My first point of concern was whether the research question is the same. Then it would be probably similar. All right, but it's not exactly the same. The wording is different, but qualitatively it's basically the same. I'm not getting into that detail, but you can probably see the pink parts. These only pink parts matches with Abhishek's. But qualitatively, both of the research question are exactly the same, based on same company, based on same elements or variables. Now, the other part where she didn't do a good job is she copied the exact same topic. The topic was also on student. They come up with their own topic. Therefore, it should be a unique topic. It cannot match line by line, but this one matched. This is Anusha's, this is original Abhishek's. So it's exactly same topic or heading. And all of the table of content is pink. That means this is matching. The whole table of content, and including some of the page numbers, are matching as well with Abhishek's. That means it's totally copy pasted, the table, the format. So what happens is, interestingly, inside this, and I'll go to the actual paper now to show you how difficult it is to identify it as a misconduct. I'm not sure whether you can see the pink parts, but none of them is pink. As I said, this is the research question. Some parts of them are pink, which can be coincidental because many research question, if it's quantitative, will say relationship between something, something. So these parts are not very significant normally, but the other parts didn't match. However, as I said, qualitatively, it's the same. Here are a couple of parts in the literature review which matched, but very insignificant. So normally we would overlook it. It's just one line, two line within each page maybe. So it doesn't look like she has done anything wrong. This heading is completely same. But again, if you use the same element, heading could be same in some cases. So we wouldn't read much into it normally. But in this case, obviously, look at this data collection part. She wrote something. The first two lines comes as pink, that is matching, but the other parts are completely not matching at all with the other original one. But most of the headings do match. As you remember that in the table of content, all of these heading and subheadings actually matched with the original paper. And in the table, data table as well, because every year you have a scope to use the contemporary data of the same, maybe same Commonwealth Bank or something, because we are using publicly available data. But why not, why are you using the same year as 2017? My question would be, in the initial cases, like, didn't you get the annual report of 2018 or 19, whichever was that year? So these things gave a lot of things away, like her source can match, obviously, in some cases, but when I read those two articles, and it takes a long time to actually understand the qualitative match, but if you read these two articles, the original and the matching one, they have exact same organization or structure. That means each paragraph in the literature review and all other aspect was about the same thing, same information, exact same information, logical flow, everything was same. It's just cleverly paraphrased in a way where similarity report, Turnitin doesn't catch it. So eventually in the discussion part also, only 2 lines matched, but content of the discussion is completely the same explanation, same everything. And interestingly, what gave it away is the reference part. She has exact same reference, number of reference, exact same sites and everything in her paper like the original report. And obviously we exclude referencing from the similarity report. That's why this part doesn't come as a similar one, but I can see that it is exactly similar to that student, exactly same to the student. So depending on my investigation, I obviously kept the original mark that marker has provided her. Now the problem is of the student came after both of us with everything she had. And she also, and I feel sorry for her in a way, because she is an international student. She didn't understand, she thought that she could actually take ideas from the other student. And although I absolutely do not believe that taking idea means that you copy the whole thing with the structure and everything. So there was a negative intention, obviously. But the student was arguing that she took the idea from the earlier student, but she didn't copy it. So I had to leave a very big comment when she contested. She actually formally went for, contesting this decision. So I have left a big comment about in which part they matched completely and it shouldn't have. Now, that is one of the challenges that we face with this kind of clever paraphrasing case. One of the things is that it is hard to detect due to low Turnitin similarity, and qualitative judgment of the expert markers may be considered subjective and may raise question about ensuring equity across campus and cohort, because every marker is probably not looking at it with that kind of lens. Especially if it was not 13%, it was only 9% similarity, we would probably not pay attention to it at that level. Now, scopes for dispute is obviously there, because she can say that, no, I haven't really copied anything. This doesn't constitute intentional plagiarism. So what is the solution, or how to detect this kind of problem or prevent it? So one way to detect it is to check all similarity scores above 5% from one source that is identified as a student paper. Because if you are copying from any journal, that's probably poor paraphrasing, or even if you do clever paraphrasing, if you cite them, it is not exactly plagiarism. But if it comes from one student paper, no matter how insignificant it is, we should look at it, like where the similarity is coming from. And try to quickly scan that source and see if the table of content, reference list, or some major parts, in our case, it was the objective or research question, and the data as well, matches qualitatively. And the organization and sequence of the paragraphs that could have similar content, but not necessarily the, maybe similar content, but written in a different way. So two people cannot think in the same logical flow. That's all I'm saying. And the next one is about prevention, how to address or overcome these challenges. So first of all, the obvious one, that you can set new and current topic every time. But in my unit, for example, every topic has to be unique, and the students are supposed to come up with their own topic. The one thing, like the learning outcome, or the thing we were testing is their innovation, their understanding of their own subject. So they had to come up with their own topic. If they can't, and we are giving them the topic, then it wouldn't be the objective of the capstone unit, serving the objective of the capstone unit. So basically, they should be able to identify a real life problem in their professional sector, future profession, and come up, use their research skill, writing skill, etc., reporting and other communication skill to provide a solution and make a report out of it. So it kind of brings together many different skills from the student. We cannot compromise it by providing them topic. Second thing, in this case, like if you can't provide new topic or set topic to the students, then what would you do? So in this case, what I did in the next few semester is introduce early presentation and workshop exercises where the instructor can track the students' progress from idea generation to the report writing stage. So there is no mystery among the student who is coming up with what topic. First 4 weeks before they submit their first assessment, they have to present 3 minutes what they're coming up with, what data source they will use, etc. And it will be openly discussed and recorded in the class. So basically, everybody is bound to come up with their own unique idea. And even if something is matching with the other person very closely, there is time and scope for the instructor to redirect them or make them a bit different. So the other thing is that the student have to, from the very beginning, show that they have done their research to come up with this. And I understand that if they have a previous year's copy already, they can use that, right? That's why we need to use both prevention and detection technique in order to prevent these kind of things. So I gave clear idea or information in all my classes and news forum announcement that we are able to detect it. All right, and so don't copy, take help from the very beginning to come up with their own or form your own ideas. So we record all those presentations, but they are not marked. All right, so they're not marked, they're just kept as a record. That what idea they came up with and later whether they changed it radically. All right, so we get the clue that, okay, they were talking about something else. Now they came up with completely new project in the later case. So if there is a issue with our doubts. So the third point is saying that absent, because some students will be absent no matter what, because it's a formative feedback. So presentation, no matter, we can't really make it mandatory because it's not marked. So some students will just not appear. But in that case, our distance student, for example, although distance student also presented via Zoom in my and to me directly. So, but if somebody is absent or could not appear, they still have to provide some kind of idea in writing in the initial stage. So that was the main requirement. So every week we can use OU Wiki type of platform where they can actually keep on putting the idea in a worksheet format, given format. So we can identify initially if they have gone step by step in developing their ideas.